First-year Chicago Wolves coach Scott Arniel can't be sure he'll be behind the bench for a second season. His own and everybody else's future hangs in the balance with the looming affiliation change.
I think he's done a great job. I think he's brought professionalism in, expectations. I know he has high expectations for our team, for our organization, and that's what he's brought to the table here. I say this time and time again that there's no team that isn't as prepared going into a game about knowing what the other team is doing and knowing what we're supposed to do in a game. We're well informed, and I think the season shows. It's been a trying year for us with all the injuries we've had, all the different guys we've had to put into the lineup. Guys called up, guys we didn't have. Like I said, any given night, we have 8 guys on the injured list, and 3 out for the year. So it's been interesting, and we've actually brought a lot of guys in that have spent time in the East Coast League, and now they're into the system, they're buying into the system, and they're understanding, and they're being successful.
Well, I think that everybody got thrown off track or off guard here a little bit with the NHL having their lockout go as long as it did, and it's been a tale of 2 cities here in Chicago, where we had one roster, pretty good roster for the first part of the year, and now we have a whole totally different roster. We've had so many new faces that have had to come through here, whether it's guys getting called up or whether it's been injuries. We've gone through a tremendous amount of players, and guys have been playing. Some guys have been playing more than maybe they normally would, or playing different positions, or getting put in situations, whether it's power play or penalty kill. It's something they maybe haven't done before, and we've seen some growth of a lot of players that maybe wouldn't have got those opportunities in other years.
Scott had a new approach to coaching coming into this season, and for 2 guys who knew him before, it became obvious quickly.
No, he might be a little bit calmer with some stuff, and he'd probably admit that himself.
He has, actually, on camera.
Okay, well, there you go. I can tell that. But the fire is still there. But I think that he's obviously, from past experiences, he's learned to keep that under control a little bit, and he's done a great job with it. And I think that he realized that he needed to probably make that change in himself, and he has. And I think it helps out with definitely with the players.
Arniel couldn't agree more.
I think that what you end up doing sometimes is you've got to change. You've got to evolve. I think that I look back. When I first went to Manitoba 7-8 years ago as a head coach. I went in there with a plan and an idea, and maybe I was a little more gung-ho. Maybe I was a little bit more easier to snap, easier to get mad. I think now that I've gone through some experiences, both good and bad, that I've learned from them, that there's time to, when is that time? When is it the right time to maybe to explode, or other times when it's to sit back? And I think you're always trying to keep the players. You don't want to be the same every single day. I don't think you want to just constantly be somebody that's yelling at the players every opportunity that there's something bad happens. I think that I've had to be patient this year because of all this stuff that's gone on, and I think that maybe that's why I'm not as fiery. I think that you have to recognize sometimes that your team is a young team that's trying to find its way, and it's real easy to beat them down, but that's probably not going to help you out in the long run, and that means that you have to be a little bit more patient. And I think that it's one of the things that I've learned is that you've got to allow players and people to evolve, and you have to let them, you have to try to bring out the best in them, and sometimes it is maybe sparking them by maybe hollering at them, but there's a lot of other times where it's being their best friend, or being talking to them in a manner that that they're going to grasp, that they're going to feel confident with, and they're going to move forward with.
I've really enjoyed working with Scott. He has been I think a real well-rounded coach for our hockey club. He has helped a lot of players grow and develop. He's aware of a lot of things that are going on in the game, and he's really sharp behind the bench. I think that, I don't think there's too many times where we get caught with the wrong people on the ice, and that's, a lot of credit to Scott being aware of what the opponent's putting out there and how he wants to counter it. Our practices are really organized. Our Our room is really a good balanced room, and I think the players know where they stand with Scott as well. You know, he's also grown as a coach, as well. I mean, every opportunity we get to grow as coaches, we have to take advantage of. And I think that we've been really fortunate to have the trio that we have, with Nolan as well, being a part of that, and kind of gives us the, mentality of the team a little bit. And Scott's pretty good one-on-one with the players. When they, he brings them in to meet with them and on an individual basis. I think there's a lot of trust that's garnered there through those conversations. And we know who's boss, and there has to be only one boss. And but at the same time, he allows us to, as assistants, to do our parts as well and have input, and that's really rewarding, and for Nolan and I as well.
You know what? I don't think there's really any difference. It was when you play for him. He's a fair coach, and he's real intense. He'll let you know when he needs more from you, and he'll let you know when you've been giving him everything you got. He'll praise you for that. So it's no different than coaching with him. You see the same intensity, the same fire, and the same passion for the game as I did when I was a player. Being behind closed doors with him all the time now, and you still see the same thing. So it's for me, it was really no different. I knew what I was getting into with him, and I enjoy every minute of it.
As for that swagger he talked about in his first Unmasked interview,
there's a ways to go. Again, and I'm not using them as excuses, but this year is, like, I've been coaching for, 15, 16 years. I have never had to deal with anything like this before. I mean, I think that it was at 02 or 03, whatever, the whole season was gone. So it wasn't like you had the expectations, you had players coming and going. This has been really different for me. Certainly I've dealt with a lot of players having call-ups and whatnot happen, but it's been hard to get the swagger going because we never had the same team in place week to week. And it really is, that's the way it's been. It's that our team has changed so much that you want to get your identity. You want to know who your elite players are. You want to know who your grinders are, who your tough guys are, who the role players are, and you put them in and out. For us, it's been every time I go into the board, I'm either putting somebody, moving them off the lineup into the injured category. I'm taking them out of the lineup and I'm putting them in the call-up category, and I'm taking another piece and bringing it from the East Coast and putting it into our lineup. So it's hard to find the swagger. It's hard to get that, and swagger comes from the repetition. It comes from doing the same thing over and over again, and that's winning. That's having a team that is almost self-coachable. That you just go in and you give them the game plan, or you just go in and you give them their key points, and they go out and they take charge of the team and they take charge of the game. It's been very hard to do this year. It's been very hard because a lot of our leadership hasn't been there through injuries and call-ups. So. The swagger's been there at times, but it hasn't been a consistent one that we had all hoped that it would be.
please join us next season for more of the Chicago Wolves series, Unmasked.
That's it, eh?